So with the idea that we're going to start with just a few little yin holds, start just wherever you feel the safest and most comfortable, maybe center of your mat. Step your feet so that they're about hip or shoulder distance apart. And we're just going to start with a light baby sway, just a little tuning in real quick to notice how your body's feeling. So with that little just transfer of weight from side to side, notice your hips, get a sense of how your back feels, notice your energy level. Did you get enough sleep last night? Have you been eating nourishing food? And then if you feel comfortable here, just for a moment, close your eyes down, bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. You can still keep that sway going as long as you feel stable. And then just for a moment here, tune in and notice the rhythm of your breath without having to change or force the breath. Just notice your natural rhythm of breath. And then maybe just tune in down to your feet. Notice the solidness of the floor beneath you. Allow your awareness to travel up just a little bit and maybe just notice the spaciousness around you or the air on your skin. And then just take a moment here to listen into the sounds of the room that you're working in. And then maybe let everything come to a stillness. Pause just for a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then with that intention set, leaving the hand on your heart, take the hand that's on the belly, stack it on top of the hand that's on the heart. And I'm going to turn sideways just so that I'm getting in the direction that we're going to head towards, but you just stay exactly where you are. Hands on the heart. As you inhale, lift your chin upward towards the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Inhale and lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Open your eyes. Inhale, look your eyes up, lift your chin up. Keep your eyes open, look your eyes down, tuck your chin down. And then bring your head back to a neutral position, release your hands, and just with a softness to the arms, a softness to the knees, we're going to start to find our dangle. So make sure your feet feel like they're good and solid on the ground. And then with a nice, soft, generous bend in your knees, they're just going to take yourself into a forward fold. Now our spine is cold, and that is the purpose of our yin holds, is we come into a yin hold in a cold body. So we're going to try to get to the connective tissue. This is not a stretch for the muscles. This gets into the ligaments and the joints, that plastic tissue. So once you get into your dangle, when we hold our yin postures, we go to a depth that's appropriate. So find a depth of this fold that's appropriate to your body. We hold it for a while, and then we'll come out slowly. So we're going to hold this for about 3 minutes. But as you get into this dangle, let your head hang heavy, let your arms be relaxed, and then you want to see if you can find a little focus on letting your muscles be as soft as possible. So think about the muscles in the back of your body, along your spine, maybe the muscles around your ribs as well, and see if you can let those muscles be as soft as you can allow them to be. There's still a little action in your legs because you're supporting yourself and holding yourself up. So just notice that there's some parts of the body, especially think edge of the spine to the crown of the head. That's where we want to try to find some focus and softness. And then I find sometimes in these yin holds, the hardest thing to get on board is the mind. So we get into these poses and we hold them for a little bit of time. And it's often the mind that wants you to come out long before the body does. So notice where your mind is at. And then you just want to make sure that you can differentiate between your mind saying, oh, I want to move on to another pose, and your body saying, this is not appropriate for me. So if at any point you feel like this hold is just not appropriate for your body, you're going to come into a seated position and fold from there. But if it feels okay to be here, Soft and heavy in your elbows, soft and heavy through the crown of your head. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to come down to the ground and onto our back. So start by, if you're holding your elbows, just start by letting your fingers find the floor. And then maybe just a little gentle lift of your head, just so you start to feel a little bit more alert and aware. And then we're slowly going to come down. So bend your knees, lower yourself down in the way that works best for you. And then we're just going to sit our butts down onto the ground and come all the way onto our back. So take your time as you do all of that moving, and then slowly lower yourself down onto your back. Once you come down onto your back, just walk your feet out so that you can find your way into constructive rest. Knees are going to collapse in towards each other. Arms are going to come into cactus or goalpost position. But then right away, as you come into this constructive rest with your arms in cactus, notice your back and your shoulders. We often start in this position, so you might know what it tends to feel like in your body. So notice, just with adding that little bit of dangle, how does coming into constructive rest feel to you now? And then once you feel like you've gotten a sense of awareness, and there's no right or wrong, if it feels exactly the same one way or the other, then that's how it feels, right? But then when you feel ready, maybe just start to gently turn your head side to side. Notice the range of motion in your head and your neck. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. See if you can let your jaw be soft. Take one more turn of the head side to side, and then as your head comes back to center, arms are going to float up into our I Dream of Genie arms, or that square across the chest, and then start to pull the elbows across the midline of the body. Take one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then arms are going to come back out into whatever comfortable position, maybe anatomical position, just so they're a little bit out of the way. And then bring it down to the knees. Start to find some gentle windshield wipers. Start small. Find a little range of motion. Give a little time to let the hips get on board. And then once you feel like things are starting to warm up or loosen up, maybe you start to take that range of motion a little bit further. Awesome. One more swish of the knees side to side, and then arms are going to flip, palms facing down, just so you can anchor into your arms a little bit. And then you're going to pull the knees up towards the chest. So you're going to get that bent knee position, but hands are going to stay on the ground. And then we're going to do, like, think Karate Kid, little wax on, wax off. So one knee is going to circle around the other. So we're just going to start to draw the knees in circles. But think about that like wax on, wax off. So one knee is going to follow the other. You're going to notice a little bit of movement in your low back. And hopefully it's a soothing movement. If it's not, you're going to stop right away and then just come into a stillness. But if it feels okay, let one knee chase the other, probably taking it in one direction for a little time. And then when you feel ready, start to chase the knees in the other direction. Notice if you change directions, how does that feel in your low back? Take 1 or 2 more circles of the knees, and then when you're ready, let that come to stillness. Let your knees get a little heavier towards your chest, still staying hands-free for a moment. So knees are soft and heavy, feet are a little bit soft and heavy, arms are just resting out at your sides, and then come back to your head turn, rock your head side to side. Take 1 more turn of the head side to side, and then we're gonna hold onto the right knee, left leg is gonna go nice and long to the end of the mat. Get a little squeeze in that knee, and then we're going to take it right into supine twist. So right knee is going to come over and across the body, right arm opens out nice and wide, and we're going to stay here just a little bit longer than we normally do. We're not going to stay for the full 3-minute yin hold, but we're going to stay here just a little bit longer than normal. So see if you can, once you've found your twist, a comfortable position in your body, let go of the muscle control. So if you can, relax the muscles around the ribs, let your knee be as heavy as it can be, and then see if you can just tune into the movement of breath in your torso and in your rib cage. If you're holding tension around your hips, also see if you can soften around your hips just to the best of your ability. Take about 3 more cycles of breath here. And then when you feel ready, pull the right knee in towards your chest. Left knee is going to come into meet. So both knees are going to hug in. We're going to take those knees, draw them in circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. And then when you're ready, hold on to your left knee, right leg is going to go nice and long. And then we're going to supine twist to the other side. And again, holding it just a little bit longer than we normally do. So left knee over to the right side, let your left arm extend out nice and wide. Find your spinal twist that works great for your body. And then once you feel like you've got that position, invite some softness in. So think about relaxing the muscles. See if you can tune in and notice the movement of breath in your rib cage. Take about 3 more cycles of breath here. When you feel ready, start to bring that left knee back into your chest. Right knee is going to come into meet. We're going to pull them in with a light little sense of tight squeeze. So you might feel a little bit of compression on your belly. And then we're going to release the feet to about hip width distance apart and move into pelvic tilt. Press your low back into the ground. Release to the natural curve of your back. Find a bit of a fluid motion here. So we're just going to get that rocking sensation. Low back presses into the ground. release to the natural curve of your back. So hopefully this should be a soothing motion, and then whatever breath pattern works best for you. So just find a breath rhythm that is going to just work good for you this morning. No right or wrong with that breath. Take 1 or 2 more tilts of the pelvis. And then we're going to pull the right knee into the chest. Left leg is going to extend, but hover. And then we're going to pull the abdominal muscles down. Curl up the head, neck, and chest like you're bringing your nose towards your knee. And then we're going to keep that curled up head, neck, and chest and take a couple of little switches of the knees. So we're going to keep the abdominal muscles engaged, switching the knees, staying steady in the breath. Take 1 more time each side, or even yourself out. And then pull both knees into the chest. Release your head down to the ground. Soles of the feet are going to come together, and we're going to drop the knees out to the left and to the right. So come into a little bit of a reclined butterfly position. Let your knees get heavy for a moment. Hands just rest on your belly, and take 3 nice deep breaths here. One more breath. And then we're going to bring the knees together. So toes together, knees together, inner thighs together. Push your knees in towards each other. Hold that active position. Knees are gently pressing in, so you might feel your inner thighs are fired up. You might even feel the outer edges of your thighs fired up. Hold it there for about 3 more breaths. Awesome. And then when you're ready, hands alongside your hips, step your feet so they're about hip width distance apart. Exhale your way up to a halfway bridge. So backs of the ribs are still going to stay connected to the ground. Butt is going to lift up off the earth. Take a second to tune into your shoulder head. So if your shoulder head's rounded up and started to lift up towards the ceiling, draw your shoulders down, press gently into the backs of your arms. The backs of the arms stay active, but is still lifted up, but then check on the ribs. Make sure your ribs didn't lift as well. So we want to keep the ribs kind of drawing down towards the ground. Take 1 more moment here. And then when you're ready, with control, release your hips down. Soles of the feet are going to come back together, back into that reclined butterfly position. Let the knees drop out. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Awesome. Knees are going to come back together. So knees together, toes together, inner thighs together, actively pushing inward. So knees are pushing in towards each other. Keep and hold that active position. Hands can just be wherever feels the most comfortable. Knees are still pressing in towards each other. So you might feel a little shake in your legs. You might feel the inner thighs really kicking on now. Take 1 more breath and then relax that position. Step your feet back out to that hip width apart. Exhale, lift up into that halfway bridge. Backs of the ribs are drawing down, shoulder heads down, press into the backs of your arms. One more breath. And then with control, release your hips back down to the ground. We're going to pull the knees into the chest and start to find a little rock and roll. We're going to rock and roll our way up to a supported boat. So take a few good rocks and rolls just to massage the length of the spine. And then once you feel like you're ready, catch a little momentum, find a little bit of a balancing point. And then once you're up at that balancing point, push the backs of your thighs into your hands, push out through your heels, push up through the crown of your head. So the whole body feels nice and strong here. One more moment, and then we're going to take it right into an easy seat. So when you feel ready, crisscross your legs, float your way up into that easy seated position, wiggle into your sits bones, and then right away, right hand's going to touch the ground, left hand's going to reach up, take a nice big side bend. When you're ready, lift up, take it over to the other side. Beautiful. Lift up. Hands are going to catch hold of the knees, and we're going to take it into a seated cat-cow here. Inhale and lift your chest. Exhale and round your back, or reverse the breath pattern if that feels better to you. Find a breath pattern that really feels right in your body. Take one more cycle of breath. And then as you reach up to a neutral spine, hands are going to swim behind the back, fingertips pointing towards your butt. So we're going to press into the palms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift your heart, lift your chin slightly. So it's a nice big opening through the front of the chest and the collarbones. And then take about 3 nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, release. We're going to lean into the right sits bones and swing the left leg out. So we're going to come into our deer seat. So get your little zigzag seat all set up. And then once you're there, we're just going to lean forward a little bit. So hands are going to come in front of you. Lean forward just to find a little bit of length through the spine and hopefully a little bit of sensation maybe in your right glute or the outer edge of your right hip. Lean forward just as far as feels good, but check in with your knee. Just make sure everything feels good. Take one more breath. Awesome. And then gently lift your way up, and then we're going to swing the legs out in a big swing all the way around to the other side. So left leg is going to come in front, right leg out to the side. Get your legs arranged first. And then once you feel like you're there, lean yourself forward just to a point that feels nice. Check in. Notice how your knee feels. Notice how your back feels. Awesome. Lift yourself on up. And now we're going to bring soles of the feet together. So into a seated butterfly position or Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, catch hold of your feet, lift nice and tall through the top of your head. And we're going to lean forward just to the halfway point. So you're just going to lean forward to the point where you can still keep that nice reach of energy out through the crown of your head. Notice your inner thighs, notice your knees. Awesome. Take one more breath. Reach up through the crown of your head, come up nice and slow. Help your knees come together. And now we're going to spin the legs around, find your way into a tabletop position or onto all fours. And then as you come onto all fours, just check in with your knees. If your knees get a little tender, maybe double stack your mat or give them a little cushion. And then once you've found a good, comfortable tabletop position, right away, we're going to slide the right leg back. Toes curled under, take a few gentle rocks forward and back. Nice. One more rock forward and back. And then we're going to stick with that right leg out, but come into a crooked table. So left elbow and forearm are going to come down. We're going to lift that leg up nice and high and then bend the knee. Let the hip roll open. Find a little bit of stretch or sensation through that right front pocket area. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then with control, bring it all back to your tabletop position. Left leg is going to slide back, toes curled under. Take a few gentle rocks forward and back. Beautiful. One more rock forward and back, and then into that crooked table. So right elbow and forearm come down, lift that left leg up, bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Awesome. And then when you're ready, float that foot down, come back up into your tabletop position, knees together, toes together, pull your butt back towards your heels. So come to a child's pose here with the knees together. So let your belly and your chest rest on your thighs. Keep the arms extended out nice and long, but then start to just tune in. Notice the breath in the back of your ribs, in your shoulder blades, and maybe up into your shoulders. Take one more breath. We're going to stay seated back towards our heels. So we're just going to slide the hands back, lift your chest away from your thighs so we come into a nice tall upright seat. And then we're going to give ourselves a hug. So arms are going to open out nice and wide, right hand on top, catch your shoulders, think shoulders down, abdominal muscles in, round the back body, tuck your chin into your chest. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, open your arms nice and wide, lift your chest, lift your chin. Left hand is going to come on top. So as you exhale, give yourself a little hug, catch the shoulders, think shoulders down, abdominal muscles in, round the back body, tuck your chin into your chest. Come back to your breath. Nice big inhale. Nice slow exhale. Inhale, open the arms wide, lift your chest, lift your chin, and then we're going to float forward into our tabletop position. So hands come forward, lift your butt up. Beautiful. And then walk your knees out just so they're back in line with the hips, and then move it into puppy pose. Walk your hands to the top edge of your mat. I'm tripping over my words. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Let your forehead sink down. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. When you feel ready, slowly bring it back up to your tabletop position. We're going to take some cat cows here, but we're going to curl the toes under. So both sets of toes curled under, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest, keeping the toes curled under. Drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail, round your back, but keep the toes curled under. One more just like that. Drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail, round your back, and then keep that slightly rounded position, keep the toes curled under, pull your butt back towards your heels. And then once your butt is back towards your heels, soften that roundness of your body. Just get a little weight into your heels. And then if it feels good, wag your tail a little side to side, just to bring that little stretch or movement down into the toes and the bottoms of the feet. Nice. Take one more little wag of the tail side to side, and then keeping the toes curled under, lift up into your tabletop position, draw your way up to downward facing dog, and then take a few petals of the legs here. Notice how the backs of your legs feel. Notice how your shoulders feel. Awesome. And then when you feel ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold, find a little length in the spine. Exhale, soften right back down into your folded position. Inhale, lift up to half forward fold. Exhale and soften back down. Inhale, lift up into half forward fold. Stay in half forward fold. And then we're going to walk our hands up just so that they're resting comfortably on the thighs. Bend your knees, lift up just a little bit. So it's a little bit of a modified chair position, but we're going to do our Uddiyana Bandha, that nice flying up block. So take your inhale. Exhale, and then at the end of the exhale, suck the belly in. Hold it for a moment, and then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles. Inhale, fill up. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck the abdominal muscles in, so belly button in and up. Hold that for a moment, and then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles. Take a big inhale. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck it in. Hold it for a moment. And then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles. Take your inhale. Nice. And then sit your weight back into your heels just a little bit. And we're going to move right into our chair pose. So we're going to lift the arms up, sink just a little bit deeper into that stance. Notice your abdominal muscles, and then see if you can just get that idea of drawing the ribs in towards each other. So nice and strong in your center. Notice your legs here. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, push firmly into your feet. Lift up, lift your chest, lift your chin, little gentle back bend. And then when you're ready, release your hands down at your sides, roll your shoulders down and back, and then just take a second to get situated at the top of your mat. Find your mountain pose, toes and knees pointing fairly forward, gaze forward, arms out at your side, palms facing in, palms facing out, just whatever feels the most comfortable to you. Just staying with this nice tall stance for a moment. Inhale, just lift your toes and spread your toes as wide as you can. Exhale, let your toes soften down. Inhale, lift your toes, spread your toes as wide as you can. Exhale, toes soften down. Do that one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down, take it into your heels. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, lower your heels down with control. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, lower your heels down. One more here. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, lower your heels down. Inhale, lift your arms up into a tall mountain pose. We're going to shift our weight, keeping the arms up and overhead. Shift your weight over to your left foot. Pick your right knee up, firm up your belly. Find some control here. Flex the foot. Reach a little bit of energy down into your standing leg, up into your fingertips. And then when you're ready, release that foot down. Transfer your weight over to the right foot. Keep the arms up and overhead if you can. Lift the left leg up, flex the foot, firm up your center, push energy down into the right heel, up into the fingertips. Awesome. And then when you're ready, release that foot down to the ground. Keep your arms up and overhead. Exhale into a chair pose. Take one more breath. And then on your next exhale, fold yourself forward. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale, soften back down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. Bring yourself forward into a plank position. So bring your shoulders in line with the wrists, readjust your feet as needed, and then pause in that plank nice and strong for a moment. Broaden your shoulders, push the floor away from you, push out through your heels, reach out through the crown of your head. Lovely. Take one more breath. And then with control, bring your knees down, lower gently onto your belly. We're going to move into a Sphinx position from here. So readjust yourself in any way that works good for you. Prop yourself up so elbows come in line with the shoulders. Arms are in a parallel position. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And we're going to take it into the right foot. So we're going to flex the right foot and take a couple of lifts and lowers of that leg. So everything else is going to stay as stable as it can. We're going to have a little bit of lift through the chest, a little reach through the crown of the head. Hip points are pressing into the earth. Beautiful. Take one more little pump of that right foot and then relax your right foot down. Take it to the left. Flex your left foot. Couple of lifts and lowers of that leg. Beautiful. Lower that foot down so both feet relax into the ground. And now we're going to add a little element of strength. So arms are nice and firm. Draw the abdominal muscles up. Think about pushing away. Think about that nice low plank position. And then relax the hips back down. Pull the abdominal muscles up. Pull the belly away from the floor. Beautiful. And then release back down. One more time, just like that. Pull the abdominal muscles up. Lift the belly away from the floor. Nice. Relax back down. Shoulder blades hug in towards each other. Heart forward. And now we're going to flex both feet. Pull the heels in towards the butt. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Lovely. When you're ready, relax your toes back down to the ground. Take a second, wiggle out your tush, walk your elbows out a little bit wide, and we're going to move right into intense shoulder stretch. So right hand is going to reach straight out from your shoulder, left hand to the ground, turn your head to the left. You might just push into the left hand. That might be enough. But if it feels good and you want that little bit more, you're going to roll over onto your hip, step the left foot behind you, relax your head down to the ground. Take 2 more breaths here. Awesome. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully bring it back onto the belly, over to the other side. Left hand is going to extend out, push into the right hand, draw the right shoulder up. That might be enough. But if you want that little bit more, you're going to roll over onto your hip, relax your head down. Nice. And then when you're ready, roll back onto your belly, slide your hands in. We're going to power up to a plank. Curl your toes under. If a plank is not for you this morning, maybe just come through a tabletop position, but then from that tabletop or from that plank, take it right up to your downward facing dog. Right leg is going to come up into 3-legged dog. We're going to bend the knee, let the hip roll open, take one good breath. Beautiful. Release that foot down, switch to the other side. Left leg up nice and high. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Take one good breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, release that foot down, look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Knees bent or straight. That's totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, low lunge. Bring the knee down, toes tucked or released, your choice. Inhale, lift your arms up, look to the sky. One more breath. Left hand is going to touch to the hip, right hand is going to lean over to the left. Take a gentle side bend. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, float the hands down to the ground. Pick up the back knee, plant the palms, step back to plank. Lower the knees or lower in chaturanga, totally up to you. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through table to down dog. Right leg is going to come up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Step the right foot up to the top of the mat. So through to a runner's lunge, heart forward, look forward, take a breath, and then step that back foot up to meet, come to your forward fold. Beautiful. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, low lunge. Bring the knee down, toes tucked or release, your choice. Inhale, lift your arms up. One more breath. Right hand is going to touch down to the hip. Left hand is going to lean over to the right. Take a nice big side bend. Beautiful. And then lift up, float the hands down, plant the palms, pick up that back knee, step back to your plank. Bring the knees down or come down in chaturanga, totally up to you. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through table to down dog. Left leg is going to come up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Nice. And then when you're ready, step that left foot through to the top of your mat into your runner's lunge. Beautiful. When you're ready, step that back foot up to meet, come to your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Pause here, just taking one nice big breath. Notice how your body feels. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, crescent lunge. Keep the knee lifted. Lift your fingertips away from the floor. Find your balance first. Raise your arms up. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. Float your hands down. We're going to straighten the front leg one time. So straighten it just a little bit so you feel a little tug in the back of the hamstring muscle. Soften your nose towards your knee. Take one good breath. Bend back through that runner's lunge. Plant your palms. Step back to plank. Lower your knees or lower in chaturanga. Totally up to you. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through table to down dog. Right leg up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Step that foot to the top right corner of your mat. So now we're going to take it out nice and wide. Nice wide lunge, but keep the back knee lifted. Heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Left hand's going to stay on the ground. Right hand's going to reach up to the sky for a little twist. Release that hand down. We're going to step the left foot up to a nice wide position and then toe heel your feet in. Find that hip width distance apart. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale, arms up. Hands meet chest. Lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Left leg back, crescent lunge. So heel is lifted, knee is lifted. Find your balance first. Reach your arms up. Beautiful. Float the hands down. Frame that front foot, straighten the front leg just enough so you feel a little sensation or tug in the back of the thigh. Soften your nose towards your knee. Awesome. And then bend that front knee, plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower your knees or lower in chaturanga. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhale through table up to down dog or up to down dog. Left leg is going to come up into three-legged dog. Bend that knee, let the hip roll open. And then step that foot up to the top left corner of your mat. So that nice wide lunge, but the back knee is going to stay lifted. Nice. Right hand stays down, left hand reaches up. Left hand comes down, step the right foot up to meet, and we'll toe heel the feet into about hip width distance apart. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll on up to standing. Roll your shoulders down and back. Pause in mountain pose just for a moment. Find that nice pressing down sensation through the heels, reaching up through the crown of your head. Even imagine that you're wrapping your heels in towards each other so everything feels nice and solid all the way through the back of the body as well. Awesome. When you're ready, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, step both feet back to down dog. Right leg is going to come up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open, take one good breath, and then we're going to take it right into our pigeon pose. So we're going to take that right leg across the mat, get it to a depth that works good for you, and then settle that left leg in. So we want to rearrange that left knee so it feels really good and comfortable. And then once you've got your legs arranged, just for a moment, walk your hands a little bit closer, lift through your chest, reach up through the crown of your head, notice your low back here. See if you can just kind of wiggle into your hips a little bit in the back knee so everything feels good. And then once you feel like there's a really nice position with your hips, then start to take it forward. So you might choose elbows and forearms. You might choose to stack your fists. You might choose to take it all the way into a sleeping pigeon and let your arms extend out. Or if you need a big sensation, you might choose a little thread the needle. So you might choose to take your right hand, thread it through and underneath, or vice versa. So if something a little bit more feels good to you, take a moment to find it. Take about 3 more breaths here. Now you might choose to stay in the sleeping pigeon position if that feels like the way to go for you. But if it feels good and you want just a little bit of extra, maybe a quad stretch, you're going to bend, we're going to walk yourself up to a nice tall upright position. And then you're going to bend that left knee. So you can reach your left hand back, catch hold of that foot, whatever handhold works good for you. But then once you've caught hold of the foot, rotate your heart forward, hugging the heel in towards your butt. So you should feel a big sensation in your left quadricep muscles or the top of the thigh. Take one more breath. And then with control, release your foot. So we don't want to ricochet that foot down. We want to lower it with control. Curl the back toes under, lift up, slide back to downward facing dog, take a few pedals of the legs. Nice. And then when you're ready, left leg is going to come up nice and high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. And then when you're ready, find your pigeon to the other side. So we're going to drop that leg across the mat, slide that right leg down, rearrange the hips and rearrange your knees so that feels all like it's in a good position. And then once you feel like you've got your hips and your knee in a good shape, walk your hands in a little bit closer, lift your chest, and then notice your low back. So once you get here and you notice if there's any like compression or pinching in the low back, you might choose to push into the fingertips, just readjust your hips, reach up a little further through the crown of your head, make that little bit of space in your back. And then once you feel like you've found some space, then walk yourself out to a sleeping position that works good for you. So maybe elbows and forearms, maybe you stack your fist, or maybe you reach the arms all the way long. Take about 3 more breaths here. Now you might choose to stay in this position, or if it feels good and you want that quad stretch, you're going to walk yourself up to that tall upright position, bend that right knee, maybe reach your hand back, see if you can catch hold of the foot. And then once you've caught hold of the foot, rotate your heart forward, look forward, hug the heel in towards your bum. Beautiful. And then with control, release that foot back down to the ground. So let it come down with control, curl the toes under, pick the back knee up, lift up into your downward facing dog, and then take a few pedals of the legs here. Awesome. One or two more pedals of the legs, and then we're just going to float the knees down into tabletop position and come back to a puppy pose. So keep your hips in line with your knees. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Let your chest and your forehead sink down. Notice your shoulders and your upper back body. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. And then walk yourself back up to that tabletop position. And then we're going to sit back onto our heels. And I'm just going to turn sideways just so you get a sense of what I'm talking about. So we're going to sit back onto the heels. But if you can, swing your feet just out a little bit. So you're going to kind of sit in this little bit of a side saddle position. So the heels are slightly off and out from underneath your butt. So once you've got that position, now we're going to take a little side bend. So we're going to reach away or towards the side that the feet are. Take one more breath. Release that top hand. We're going to pick the hips up. So walk yourself back up into that tabletop position and then swing the feet slightly over to the other side. So sit back toward your heels. Feet are going to come out into that little side saddle position. And then once you've got your way there, back to that side bend. So the other hand is going to reach up towards the side where the feet are. Beautiful. One more breath. Lift up with control, float yourself back into that tabletop position. And then from that tabletop position, either swing your legs out to one side or crisscross your ankles. We're going to spin it back so that we're seated onto our butt. And then just right away, scoot your butt forward, curl the tailbone under, and we're going to come down with control. So lower yourself down nice and slow. Once you come down to that position, take it right into your recline butterfly. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. And then we're going to reach up and grab that imaginary beach ball in front of the chest. Exhale, pull the abdominal muscles down as you lift up through the chest and chin, reach through the fingertips, and then inhale, release back down. Exhale to curl up. Inhale to release. Exhale to curl up. Inhale to release. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, release. On this next one, we're going to exhale, hold. Don't hold the breath, but just hold that upright position and then add a little pulse like you're reaching your fingertips towards the top corner of your room. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax yourself down. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. Let everything be soft and heavy. Take a nice big breath in. And then bring the knees in together. Knees are going to touch, toes together, inner thighs together. Push the knees in towards each other. Hold that position for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that position. Step your feet so they're about hip width distance apart. Hands down alongside your hips. Exhale, lift up into that halfway bridge. Back to the ribs connected to the floor. Shoulder heads pressing down, back to the arms pressing down. And then once you found your way here, take one good breath. Release your hips back down. And now we're going to come up into our really high bridge. So exhale, lift up as high as you like. Maybe even walk the shoulder blades in towards each other so you get a little bit of a heart lift. Tiny lift in the chin, and then reach your knees toward your toes. Get a little length through the tops of the thighs. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. With control, roll your way back down to the ground. Take your time. And then once you find your way down, pull the right knee into your chest. Left knee is going to extend nice and long. We're going to take a little quick supine twist. So take that right knee over and across the body. Right arm opens out nice and wide. Head turns to the right. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Pull your right knee into your chest. Left knee comes in to meet. Hold on to your left knee. Let your right leg go nice and long. And then a quick supine twist to the other side. Left knee comes over and across the body. Arm opens wide. Head turns to the left if that feels good. Beautiful. And then pull that left knee back into your chest. Right knee is going to come into meet. Once your knees are into your chest, we're going to come back to that little wax on, wax off with the knees. So we're going to circle the knees. One knee is circling the other, hands free. Notice your low back. One more circle in this direction. And then when you're ready, reverse directions and go the other way. Lovely. One more circle in this direction and then float your feet down so legs can come into constructive rest. Knees are going to drop in towards each other. Back to your cactus arms. So elbows in line with the shoulders, palms facing up. Once you've got your cactus arms in place, turn your head side to side. Nice big turn of the head or as much range of motion as you can find. One more turn of the head side to side. And then as your head comes back to that central and neutral position, hands are going to stay in that cactus stay in that cactus or goalpost position. And then we're just going to gently nod the head up and down. So you're going to feel the back of your head slightly compress against the floor. So it's not going to be a big grand motion, but we're actually trapping the skin in the connective tissue. So it's creating a light bit of massage. Take one more nod of the head up and down, and then head is going to find that neutral position. We're going to drop the knees over to the right. So we're going to let the knees sink all the way down just as far as they'll go. Pause for a second just to make sure it feels like a comfortable position. And then if it does feel good and you want just a little bit more, you're going to pick up the right foot, stack it on top of the outside of the left thigh, and then let the knees get a little bit deeper. If that doesn't feel comfortable to the knee or the hip, you're going to leave that part off and just go as far as feels right. Take one more breath. If your foot is stacked with control, release it. Pick the knees up to center and then drop them right over to the other side. So knees are going to drop to the left. Pause for a minute, make sure everything feels like it's arranged nicely. And then if it feels good and you want just a little bit more, you're going to pick up the left leg, stack it on top of the right, and then let the knees sink a little bit deeper. One side might feel totally different than the other side. So if you stacked your leg on one side, but the other side doesn't feel good, leave it off. Take one more breath. If your foot is stacked with control, release it. Bring the knees back to center. We're going to walk the feet in so they're about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to do that little SI reset. So that little push and pull. So lift your legs up into that tabletop position, right hand behind the thigh, left hand on top of the knee. Knee pushes into the hand, thigh pushes into the hand. So we're going to get that opposite push pull. So your right thigh is pressing down into your hand and your hand resists. The left knee is pushing up into your left hand and the hand resists. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, release, and switch to the other side. So right hand on top, left hand underneath, opposite push pull. So the right knee pushes into the right hand, left thigh pushes down into the left hand, and the hands help resist. Hold that position for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, release, float the feet down, pause just for a moment, and then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to come to constructive rest? Would it feel good to come to reclined cobbler's pose? Or maybe take that more traditional shape, or perhaps roll onto one side or flip over onto your belly. Any position of the body that feels right to you. And then once you feel like you know where your body wants to be, just take a second to let it work out all those little wiggles. Come into a little bit of stillness, or a sense of stillness that makes sense to you. Give everything a little bit of time to settle in. Become aware of the solidness of the floor beneath you, the spaciousness around you, or the air on your skin. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like. But if you feel called to do so, gently start to reawaken your body. Wake up your fingers, wake up your toes. Invite a deeper breath into your body and start to move your limbs in any way that feels good. And then if it feels really great to do so, take it into a big good morning stretch. Stretch your arms up and overhead, reach through your legs, reach through your toes. Take a nice big breath back into your body. Awesome. And then in your own way and at your own pace, start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe rock and roll up or roll to one side, whatever gets you there. Great. And then as you come up to that comfortable seated position, just take a second to find that nice tall spine, soften your shoulders down. And we're going to take soft fingers and gently tap in the space right behind the ears. So just a nice light tap. And if it helps you find some soothing, maybe just close your eyes for a moment. And then taking those light fingers, now we're just going to draw those fingers down the side of the neck. So just a nice light touch. Take one or two more swipes down and then take those light fingers and then just tap across the chest. So think to the center of the chest and then out to the collarbones. And then again here, if it feels nice to do so, close your eyes down and just tune in. Notice that sensation. Beautiful. Take one or two more taps here. And then when you feel ready, bring your prayer hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. Take another big inhale. Allow the shoulders to lift and maybe even squeeze your eyes a little bit. And then as you exhale, let your eyes soften, shoulders soften, and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your day. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy, happy Tuesday. You guys are amazing. Nice work.